Hello and welcome to the Crochet Business School podcast. I'm Kelly Thomas, and let's talk about what it feels like when you change direction in your crochet business and you don't feel like you fit the networking circle that you've been building up over the time that you've had your crochet business so far. What do you do when your connections just aren't working for you anymore? What does that look like? So on the face of it, this can sound like a bit of a strange problem to have. But, when you're building your crochet business, selling what you make, you build up these connections with other business owners. Maybe they're crafters, maybe they're people who are part of MLMs. But the thing you have in common is that you're all trying to make a living by selling things. You're selling products. You have something to share together. You support each other. You can go and chat about your frustrations. But when you change direction and you start doing things digitally, having recurring income and relying on digital products, the conversation for you changes. All those gripes about postage costs and people not appreciating products and about making custom orders, suddenly you're not part of that conversation because you're not doing those things. And you feel like you can't contribute. To be there saying, oh, that doesn't apply to me, it sounds a bit smug, it's not very helpful to anybody. So you don't say anything. And because you don't say anything, it means that you end up just gradually withdrawing. It's not about the group. It's not about the people there. They're not judging you, and I've no doubt they would be incredibly supportive and would be cheering you on in your new venture. The issue is with how you feel about not being able to join in. Yes, you can be there and sympathize and support everyone, but that's not your experience anymore, and that can feel very disorientating. It makes you feel a bit on the sidelines, and when you withdraw, you then feel quite alone. How can you find people who do understand? What do you do? How do you find a new group? How do you find a new circle? But first you've got to mourn the loss of the old one. It doesn't mean you lose contact with everyone. You just need people who can support you and understand your journey, understand where you are now and what the issues you're having are. You need a different kind of support. You need people who are doing the same thing as you. And it doesn't mean that you have to abandon these old connections. It's just that conversation doesn't feel like yours anymore. The space doesn't feel like yours. And while you keep contact, because they are friends as well as networking opportunities, although you keep in contact with them as friends and check in, they're not the business support group that you used to have. And this mismatch has to shift. There has to be a change. My own experience was similar. I was part of a group chat where we had a variety of different business owners. Most of them were crafters, either sewing or selling wax melts or dream catchers, stationers, subscription box providers. There was a whole range of people in this group. But over time, it did change, and it didn't start with me. As these things tend to happen, some people quit. Some people's lives just changed and they just weren't into making a business anymore. Sadly, one lady passed away. So this group was already going changes when mine came along. And it very quickly didn't feel like my space anymore. The thing that joined everyone together was that everyone was selling things that they made in one way or another. It was all physical products. And when I turned to writing crochet patterns, that wasn't my experience anymore. And I did withdraw. And it's been several years now, and I'm not in contact with anyone from that group. In fact, very few people in that group are still in business. And this is one of the other things that happens along the way. So you withdrawing is you're probably not the first to leave. And if you are, it won't be long before the group changes again. So you don't have to worry about destroying it. It's just one of those natural processes. But we all need support. We all need to network. We all need to find people who we are familiar with, who we have something in common with. And that's part of being a business owner. You network, you make connections. So when it comes to finding new connections, you do it the same way as you did the first time round. You find other people in your space, other people who are using recurring income. So if you're writing crochet patterns, find other crochet pattern writers. You can find yarn makers, independent yarn stores. You can find people who make crochet hooks. People that connect with what you are doing now. So if you're on YouTube, find other YouTubers. If you're creating courses, find other course creators. And that's about looking in Facebook groups, or searching Instagram for the hashtags, or going onto Substack and finding accounts who do the same thing. And then you simply start engaging with their posts. You can do this the same way you did the first time round. And I bet you the first time it was finding people in groups or through hashtags, commenting on posts, and then as they start to recognize your name, you start to get to know each other. And slowly you will build a new circle. The social media algorithms work brilliantly for this because as soon as you start posting your new posts on social media, the algorithm will fill up your feed with people doing similar things. And so it's actually really easy to find new connections. You've just forgotten how you made those original connections in the first place. So this feeling of being alone is temporary. It's just a transition phase. Yes, you are going to mourn the group that you used to be part of and being part of the conversation and having those things in common, but you can build that again with new connections. These business-oriented group chats, they are not permanent. They very rarely are. But you can get something more permanent when it is based around recurring income because people are likely to be in business for far longer than those who are selling what they make. And that goes in for any business. Find your new connections. You will get that group support. You will get that camaraderie. You will find the new friendships. And it's okay to do that. It's okay to feel this strange, weird transition phase. It's all part of the process. So just start connecting. Start finding your new people. Start commenting on people's posts. And, your people are waiting to be found. Those new friendships are waiting to be built. So go ahead and start building them. Use social media for what it was meant for, to be social. And the new network will create itself. So this whole series, we've been talking all about the different aspects of selling what you make and going into recurring income. If you haven't downloaded it yet, your free Map My Path workbook is waiting for you to help guide you through this process. And if you want more daily tips on how to grow your crochet business to be sustainable and making a profit they can make a living from, then come and join me on Substack. My account is free to follow, and I'm there every day posting tips about building a crochet business. You can find the link for that in the show notes or go to crochetbusinessschool.substack.com. So thank you for listening, and I shall see you next time for the next episode. Bye for now.